Hi friends, in this video we are going to see Digital Signal Processing Part 1 Basic Concepts and Algorithms Week 4 Quiz Answers. Let's take the quiz. The first one, consider the magnitude DFTs mod x of e power j omega and mod y of e power j omega shown below, where the vertical lines represent the Dirac. Here we have the magnitude response of the two signals. So using these two functions, we need to find the period of x of n and y of n. Now see the first one. Now is given the magnitude response. Having the vertical lines at 0, then the pi by 6, then pi by 3, then the pi by 2, then the next one is 2 pi by 3 and 5 pi by 6. Okay. Similarly for the negative frequencies, that is from the minus pi by 6, minus pi by 3, minus pi by 2, minus 2 pi by 3, then the 5 pi by 6, minus 5 pi by 6, and pi. See, in the magnitude response, we have the impulse signal at the positive and the negative frequency means its corresponding the time domain signal and the trigonometric function, the sinusoidal function, either the sine or cos. Okay, example, the time domain function is the cos omega c n, its magnitude spectrum, having the impulse at the omega c as well as the minus omega c. Okay, with that, here the discrete time signal x of n and the frequency at the pi by 6 and the minus pi by 6. So that means there is a sinusoidal signal having the frequency component is pi by 6n plus cos of pi by 3n, then plus cos of pi by 2n, then plus cos of 2 pi by 3n plus cos of 5 pi by 6n plus cos of n pi. So here this is a sum of 6 sinusoidal signals. So we need to find the period of this. For that, find the period of individual functions. This is for n1, I repeat here, the period is 2 pi by omega naught into m. Here omega naught value is pi by 6, that is 2 pi by 6 into m, which is 12 m. Okay, so the fundamental time period is 12. Next, the second one, that I am representing with n2, which is 2 pi by, directly I am writing here, which is pi by 3 into m, which is nothing but the 6m. So the fundamental time period n naught 2 is 6. Next, the third one, the cos of pi by 2n. So that is n3 is 2 pi by 2m. So it is 4m, n3. So fundamental time period is 4. Now the fourth one, n4 is equal to 2 pi by 3 into m. So the period is simply 3m. So the fundamental time period is 3. Okay. The next one, the fifth one, n5 is equal to 2 pi by 5 pi by 6 into m, which is nothing but 12 by 5 into m. The fundamental time period n05 is nothing but 12. Now the last one, n6 is 2 pi by pi into m, but the period is simply 2m. The fundamental time period is 2. Now, the period of x of n is LCM of all these values. So, the period of x of n is equal to LCM of 12, 6, 4, 3, then 12, 2. Now, LCM of all these is simply 12. So, the period of the x of n is 12. Now, coming to the y of n, see, it has only the two impulse signal. One is at the 2 pi by 3 and the second is at the minus 2 pi by 3. So, the period is just already we evaluated, which is 3. So, the y of n, the period is 3. So, x of n is 12 and y of n is 3. So, that we need to enter here, which is 12 space 3. Okay. Now, the second one, we will see in the later lectures that communication systems must fulfill what is called the bandwidth constraint. That is, the energy of the signals that they transmit must strictly fit into predefined frequency bands. In this problem, we will look at the bandwidth constraint in the discrete time domain. The signal x of n is real valued and its spectrum is non-zero only over the interval minus pi by 8 to plus pi by 8. Due to the bandwidth constraint, we need to fit the signal over the bands indicated in the green in the following figure. Okay, so that means the frequency band x of n, which exists from minus pi by 2, minus pi by 8 to plus pi by 8, that must be shift toward the right side and the left side by an amount of 5 pi by 8, then only it will be fit into the range pi by 2 to 3 pi by 4, as well as the minus 3 pi by 4 to minus pi by 2. So, let's see which of the following input-output relationships for h meet both the requirements. Let's see the first one, S of n is equal to IDTFT of x of e power j to omega minus pi pi by 8. Now, the second one, the first option, they given the S of n is equal IDFT of e power j into omega minus 5 pi by 8. So, the DTFT of S of n is simply x of e power j into omega minus 5 pi by 8. Now, see here the frequency spectrum of x of n is shifted toward the right side band 5 pi by 8. So, that will fit into the band pi by 2 to 3 pi by 4, not in the negative range. Okay, so it is not the one. Now, see the second one, S of n is equal to e power j 5 pi by 8 n into x of n. Now, the second one, S of n is equal to e power j 5 pi by 8 n into x of n. The DTFT of S of n is S of omega or S of e power j omega. Can write the x of e power j into omega minus 5 pi by 8. So, which is similar to the option A, which is also wrong. Now, the third option, S of n is equal to cos of 5 pi by 8 n into x of n. So, the S of n is equal to cos of 5 pi by 8 n into x of n. The DTFT of S of n is S of omega is equal to, using the modulation property, 1 by 2 into x of omega plus 5 pi by 8 plus x of omega minus 5 pi by 8. So, the spectrum is shifted toward the right side and the left side by an amount 5 pi by 8. So, it exactly fit into the range pi by 2 to 3 pi by 4 and minus 3 pi by 4 to minus pi by 2. Okay, so third is correct. The last one, sine of 21 pi by 8 into n x of n. Now, the last option, S of n is equal sine of 21 pi by 8 n into x of n. So this can be written as the sine function, the sine of, I'm writing that 21 pi like the 2 pi plus 5 pi by 8 into n x of n. So which can be written as the sine of 5 pi by 8 n into x of n. So the dTft of s of n is s of omega is equal to, using again the modulation property, j by 2 into x of omega plus 5 pi by 8 minus x of omega minus 5 pi by 8. So the spectrum of x of n is shifted toward the right side and the left side by an amount 5 pi by 8. So it exactly fit into the band pi by 2 to 3 pi by 4 and the minus 3 pi by 4 to minus pi by 2. So the third and the fourth options are exact. Now the third one, consider the length L signal. X of n is equal to 1 from 0 to m minus 1 and it is 0 from m to L minus 1. Write out the closed form analytical expression for its DFT coefficient. Okay, so here simply we need to find the discrete Fourier transform of a sequence x of n. The given x of n is which is 1 from 0 to m minus 1 and it is 0 from m to L minus 1. So the length of x of n is simply the L. So we need to find the discrete Fourier transform, which is summation n from 0 to L minus 1 x of n e power minus j 2 pi nk by capital L. So but the x of n is non-zero over the range 0 to m minus 1 only. The summation range 0 to m minus 1 over this range, the x of n is 1. So e power minus j, this I am writing as 2 pi k by L whole power n. So here I am using the summation result, that is summation n from 0 to n minus 1 a power n, which is 1 minus a power capital N by 1 minus a. Using this summation, it can be written as 1 minus e power minus j 2 pi k into capital M by L whole divided by 1 minus e power minus j 2 pi k by L. So in this, I am taking the e power minus j pi k m by L is a common. So you will get the e power j pi k m by L minus e power minus j pi k capital M by L. So in the denominator also I am taking it as e power minus j pi k by capital L is common. So it is e power j pi k by capital L minus e power minus j pi k by capital L. So once you divide the numerator and the denominator by 2j, these whole terms are similar to the sine functions. So at the same time, I am taking this exponential in the denominator is also into the numerator. So which is e power minus j pi k by L is a common term. So you get a m minus 1 into, this is the sine of pi k capital M by L divided by the denominator, it is sine of pi k by capital L. This you need to write here. Now see the preview. E power minus j pi k by L into m minus 1 sine of pi k m by L all divided by sine of pi k by L. Now the fourth one, the real and imaginary parts of x of e power j omega r. I have the real and imaginary parts. So we have only the real function and the imaginary is 0. So we know that the discrete time Fourier transform is purely real function and the discrete time signal is Hermitian symmetric. So this is right. Okay. Now the x of n is a 0 mean. Now see the fourth one, the discrete time Fourier transform x of e power j omega, which is summation x of n into e power minus j omega n. To find the mean, just substitute the omega value 0. So it is simply the x of 0 value summation x of n. So the mean of x of n that can be evaluated in the frequency domain, which is equal to the x of 0. Now see the x of 0 in the given figure, which is a non-zero value. So the mean is not equal to 0 and x of n is a real valued. Okay. Now fifth one, consider a signal x of n and its DTFT x of e power j omega. Assume x of e power j omega is differentiable. Compute the inverse DTFT of j into d by d omega of x of e power j omega. So I am taking the DTFT of x of n is x of e power j omega summation n from minus infinity to plus infinity x of n into e power minus j omega n. Differentiate the x of e power j omega with respect to the omega. So x of e power j omega, which is summation n from minus infinity to plus infinity x of n. So only the complex exponential function having the omega. So differentiate that. So it is minus j n into e power minus j omega n. So here I am taking the minus j is outside the summation. So summation n from minus infinity to plus infinity. This I am writing as n into x of n e power minus j omega n. Now I am taking this minus j to the left side. So it becomes j into d by d omega of x of e power j omega. And this summation part is nothing but DTFT of n into x of n. Now the inverse DTFT of j into d by d omega of x of e power j omega is equal to n into x of n. So here you write n into x of n. Now, which property of the DTFT allows you to easily compute the inverse DTFT of 4 x of e power j omega by pi minus 2? Simply here the functions need to obey additivity and the homogeneity, so it should be the linearity property. Okay. Next, the seventh one, take a length capital N, signal x of n and its DFT x of k with 0 to n minus 1. Next, consider it periodized version x dash of n is equal to x of n mod n with its discrete Fourier series x dash of k. So once apply the discrete Fourier transform of signal x of n, both the time domain signal x of n and the discrete Fourier transform x of k both are periodic signal with the period is capital N. That means x of k is equal to the x dash of k here. So the first option is x dash of minus 2 is equal to x of 2, which is wrong. X dash of minus 2. So x dash of minus 2 is equal to x of n minus 2. Okay. So the first one is wrong. X dash of k plus ln is equal to x of k. It's right. Why? Because both the functions are periodic functions. Next, x dash of l is equal to x of l mod n is right. Now the eighth one. In the class, we learned how the modulation theorem can help us tune a musical instrument. Martin showed us an example with a bass, but of course, the same works with a classical guitar. Listen carefully to these two samples with earphones if possible. Each audio clip is a recording of two notes played together. So here we have the two audio clips. By listening these two, we need to identify which is in tune and which is out of tune. So now I am playing the audio clip A. I'll listen the audio clip A once again. So with this, we can conclude that the audio clip A is in tune. I'll listen the audio clip B now. So once again, I am playing the audio clip B. So which is out of tune. So audio clip, the notes are in tune of audio clip A and out of tune in audio clip B. Okay, in clip A that is in tune, and clip B or that is out of tune. And the ninth one, a ringback tone is the sound you hear in your landline telephone when the remote phone you are trying to call is ringing. In most European countries, the ringback tone is a single sine side turn on and off periodically, while in the USA, the ringback tone is the sum of two sine sides with the relatively close frequencies turned on and off periodically. Here we have the two audio samples A and B. By listening these two, we need to identify which is the ringback tone of US. Okay, so for the US, they are using the two sinusoidal signals. Let's see, now I'm playing the sample A. That is, the sample A is having only the one sinusoidal turned on and off periodically. Now listen to the sample B. Now the sample B having the two sinusoidals. Okay, so sample B is the ringback tone of US, since why, because it having the two sinusoidal signals. Okay, now that is sample B is the US ringback tone because it is the sum of two sinusoids. Now the 10th one, which is related to the ninth question only, as explained in the previous question, the European and US ringback tones are composed of one or two sinusoidal respectively, multiplied by a square wave switching between 0 and 1. This multiplication by a square wave periodically mutes the sinusoidals. So once the signal having the one sinusoidal means it having the two frequency components in the spectrum. One is at the positive and the second is negative. So here we have the one frequency at the positive and the negative, means this is simply the European ringback tone. So see the spectrum A, it is the practical spectrum. So spectrum B is the ideal one. So the spectrum A is corresponding to the European ringback tone. Okay. Now the 11th one, consider the sequences x1 and h2. See the x1 we have the root 2 term, then x2 1.414, so that we have the discrete Fourier series for the x2 sequence. Okay, there exists which x2 has the discrete Fourier series of size n. Now the 12th one, consider a signal x of n. The only thing we know about the signal is that its discrete time Fourier transform is strictly band limited between minus pi by 10 and pi by 10. We now modulate the signal to obtain y of n is equal to x of n cos omega c n. Among the possibilities below, select all the values for omega c that allows us to perfectly demodulate y of n. For the perfect demodulation, omega c must be greater than or equal to the fm. So here, out of the 4, have the pi by 20 which is less than the pi by 10. So the pi by 20 is not the correct option. Okay, we need to find the correct values for omega c among the 3 values. Now see the first one, 9 pi by 10. The first one, the 12th, the first one, 9 pi by 10. Okay, so here I am finding the omega c plus fc plus fm and fc minus fm plus pi by 10. So which is simply the pi, and the 9 pi by 10 minus pi by 10. So which is 8 pi by 10. So which is in the range from minus pi to plus pi. Okay. Now 9 pi by 10 is greater than the pi by 10. So we can use this 9 pi by 10 as omega c, so that we can exactly demodulate the signal. Now the second option, pi by 3. That is pi by 3 plus pi by 10. So it is simply the 13 pi by 30, and next pi by 3 minus pi by 10, which is 7 pi by 30. So this is again in the range minus pi to plus pi, and this is greater than the pi by 10, so that we can use the pi by 3 also as omega c. And the third one is 11 pi by 12. 11 pi by 12 plus pi by 10. Now its value is 61 pi by 60, so which is greater than pi. And next 11 pi by 12 minus pi by 10, so which is the 41 pi by 60. Okay, so here the spectrum is exceeding the limit pi, so we can't demodulate with this omega c values. So the correct options are the 9 pi by 10 and the pi by 3. Okay, now you'll see the result by submitting the quiz. Now see the latest submission grade is 100. Okay, thank you.